Alex, Mr.Snitchy here, and welcome back to another run Devblog. It's been a couple months since they just released something, and today at about 5:30 Central Time, which is my time zone, they sent out a Devblog. So today I'm just going to go through it real quick, just so that people that aren't able to get on the site, because I know it just came back up, or that just don't pay attention as much, kind of know what's going on. So for these first couple paragraphs, it's just saying, that they're alive and well, where you can get the screenshots, which look beautiful, where's the updates, yada yada yada. I mean, this first screenshot, it just looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to say that the art team actually did a really good job, and it looks like they've actually shown off another map. Looks like to be a convenience store. So, add that onto the anal staircase, the shipping container, all those other maps. So, like I said, if you guys want this, you can go to the stuffs page on voidinteractive.net. You should be able to find it there. Then they go into the artificial intelligence, which basically is saying like how they've done what they're doing with the artificial intelligence, how realistic it should be, and obviously it has to be realistic if you're depending on these guys if you are playing in the solo game mode. If you guys can read that. I'll leave a link in the description to find the Devblog. But basically it's saying that they've just upped the realism of the AI, both your SWAT buddies as well as your suspect and your civilian AI. It does say, if you shoot people, like civs will try to run away from the gunfire, all that stuff. Just something that actually normal people would do, which I'm kind of surprised they're doing this, because I know this is an indie developer, and most of the time from an indie game you don't expect this much, but then again they do with backing, so you never know. And then right below that they have some footage of what a wingman looks like. Now we'll take a look at this real quick. And so basically what happened in this, which it does say above, was that somebody rolled behind a vending machine that was tipped over, and as the person that was playing obviously swapped from their pistol to their primary, the suspect got up and his wingman actually took him out, which is really nice. This goes back to the whole AI thing where you want them to be competent, but you don't want them to be over competent. You don't want to be them past like a human player's perspective. So as it says in the footage below, the suspect falls and rolls behind a vending machine, which we did see to take cover. As the person is transitioning from their sidearm to the rifle, one of the officers engages the suspect before he has a chance to shoot me. A couple other features that it says, you can see ricocheting shell cases hitting the screen that were entirely random and not planned. So we'll go through it again once. We'll see if we can see those. And like I said, you can see it bouncing off the, like there's a shell casing, you can see it bouncing off and coming back down. Like there, it just went around the screen. Good things. Then it goes into different breaching methods, such as C2 charges, which is going to be explosive, battering rams, things you always see on cops, big metal poles, if I can get my hands on the screen here, that are like massive, and you take and you go, that'll work. Grenades into a room for entry, and they've added something in here called a stealth mode. Now, this is kind of nice, because if you want to take it stealthier and you don't want them to know that you're there right away, you can do this, which is great for me, because that's how I normally do play games like this. So, as it says, it starts with stealth mode, where the ROEs is shifted, and it forces them to call contacts, before they engage. Officers keep their voices low so they're not heard, and it's also less likely to initiate combat unless put in danger. Now, this is specifically AI. This is your 4 buddies or however many you're going to have, and that's basically don't take the shot unless you have to. I mean, it does work, and you can more easily apprehend people. During combat, the team will shift to dynamic mode. They're going to be tenser, they're going to be more aggressive, they're going to hold different angles. And if you wanted to, you just do this automatically. You just run in guns blazing if you really, really want to. Then they go on to a new feature, which is as the inclusion of go codes. Obviously, you have your 5-man team, your red team, your blue team, and your gold. This is taken directly from SWAT 4. The breaches can be initiated in single groups. You can have red team go to one door, and blue team go to a different door, and you can break the third door if you wanted to. You can send 2 guys in, 2 guys to, back them up. But they just give a little example of this, so I'll show this right now. And also, if I do want to say this, we just finish this up real quick, is the lean system on here looks fantastic. The graphics look fantastic, the lean looks fantastic. The way that he is moving through the game now, I know the iron sights on the weapon I don't really like, but that's good. And this also takes place right after the last cutscene. Now, as I said earlier, they have done AI upgrades, so obviously, civilian AI will act unpredictable. If I'm in a building and gunfire goes up, and I'm a fight or flight person and I choose to fly, I'm running the other way. If they find a clear exit, civilians may try to run away from the combat without being shot. And like they say here, right here, it's best to get control of the civilians as soon as possible by any means. So I'm thinking this is probably going to help kind of, engage on how you do this, because obviously you're going to have people that are going to get all the suspects or all the civs restrained and out of the building first, then they're going to clear it, or they're just going to leave them and let shit hit the fan. And I know there's people like that. However, I'm not one of those people. Maybe I'll come across somebody, maybe I'll find that this will be better. Hey, you know what, it's just time to tell once the game comes out. And then also they go on with the AI saying that also to cover based on object height and strength, and will attempt to confuse the player by peeking out and then readjusting to find a better position. Just another screenshot. This is just shows how much detail and how much grit they're putting into this. It's so nice. This probably isn't a screen or a desktop screen worthy picture, but hey, you never know. Somebody's out there gonna put it there. Then they go into motion capture and say how they've basically invested in high-end mocap, which is great. Mocap is probably better than trying to do animations, because obviously you can just follow people in real life. Get them in an area, mocap them, and I'll show that real quick here. And like I'm gonna say, this looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is how I would think some SWAT officer would breach a door if they have a buddy. Obviously you'd be doing it in twos, one guy going left, one guy going right, but hey, that's besides the point. It's just good that they have all of this detail added in now, so let's watch it. And he's checking his corners, which is great. Like I said, they're taking a lot of detail into this, and that's good. And directly after that, we have our animations, and they've been drastically improved. It goes on to say that they've created every animation 240 FPS, rigged loosely, which is inspired by Killing Floor 2, first-person animations as well as third-person animations. We have some procedural animations in our workflow. For example, our animations are layered with a random node-based system, which is very realistic and unpredictable. Methods of shaking when an officer fires rapidly, which makes sense, because in real life, you're firing a fully automatic weapon, at least from what I've seen, is that you're not going to be able to control it automatically, because you're going to be jerking your body in trying to compensate with that. It's not like CSGO, Rainbow Six, Battlefield for, I guess, comparison, how you have a nice and linear spread, something that you can pull on with your mouse, controller stick, whatever. But this will help at least realism, and that's what they're going for, which I really, really like. So, and they've also done this for people. So we'll watch this, and it's basically just showing how people react to gunshots, which is basically how they would do it. And obviously it says here work in progress. So this is all change, which we should all know by now because this game is still in development. So let's watch this real quick. First guy just drops, and this person kind of, he gets hit. I think he gets hit in the neck first. Let's see if I can back it up enough here. Yeah, he gets hit right in the neck, so obviously he's going to go for the neck and just drop. And one thing I've also noticed with all of this gunfire going on, if you watch, there's a chair right here that actually moves, which is probably just because, if you're firing a gun in so close proximity, obviously something's going to shake eventually. As you can see, that chair just keeps moving. So, then they go back into basically one of the biggest changes that at least I've noticed since the second devlog back in, I believe, I want to say November or December? No, October. So basically they've said that they've basically redone their entire UI. As you see, it is very, very differently. Just because there's no ammo magazine count down at the bottom. It's just a singular compass. And as they say here, you have two different types of reloads. Obviously, if your swap mag, which is your normal, you're gonna hit R or whatever your reload button is, and you're gonna take your mag out slowly, put your new one in, recock it if you have to, or you have your quick reload, which is basically just ejecting the entire mag, throwing a fresh one in, and you don't even care if you can re-pick up the ammo. And they do say that it is about 35 to 60% faster, which I think is actually kind of nice depending on what weapon you use, because obviously if you're going to be using MP5, I think it's probably going to be a hell of a lot quicker than if you're going to eject, like, I don't know, an LMG, or I don't even know if they have those, but you know what I mean. Something like a mag-based LMG, like 100-round beta mag. It's going to take more time. And drop magazines can be reclaimed once combat has ceased, which is nice. So if you're halfway through a gunfight, you're almost out of ammo, just quick pull that mag out, drop it, and go to pull another one and recock it if you have to. Pick it up afterwards. Also on top of this, they can hold R to check the magazine's capacity as well as the ammo type. Now I'll show this afterwards, but it's actually quite clean, and it's actually very well suited. Now I will say that text is kind of get something used to, but hey, you know what, that'll be fine. And I'd like here, the magazine will accurately show ammo quantities and type, providing a prompt with the weight of the magazine, whether it feels empty, light, full, etc. So we'll watch this real quick. So obviously he's going to check it. And he did a slow reload, which is kind of normal, something you'd see. And then if he dumps it, quick swap, I would think, or maybe it's even a full reload. I don't know, but I think that would probably be something where you just, I don't care, just toss it and go. Toss it, recock it, and go. Then, this is also going to be another one of the quick reloads. This is a 5.7. Dumps the entire mag. Little slow reload, and you can also check the mag. And then this, he's just taking his time, so that's going to be the leisure reload. And the first one's going to be your fast reload. You don't really care how much ammo's in there. And then you also, if I can go back here real quick, we have, it looks like a picture of our Stinger grenade. Or at least this. Like I said, this is going to be great. It looks nice. The guns look nice. However, there isn't any sound, at least that I can find, which sucks. But, hey, you know what? I'll digress. And as I said earlier, right here at the bottom, we've done away with a lot of the UI in Devblog 2, with the philosophy less is more, in the sense that it should be told passively. We don't need to look, because as their thing, as I remember they stated, was the Swiss Army knife of UIs. Now you guys can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what they're saying was the Swiss Army knife of UIs. We want everything in one compact area so we never have to take our eyes off our sights, which this does great at. I think this is a great change. I will also be having, other things to say about it in the future, but I'll just keep it going on as it is. So, With the replacement, you have added a compass, which I did show earlier, and also made the speed adjustments. Now I know when it was either Devblog 1 or Devblog 2, you said you'd have multiple speeds that you could go at, and they've done a tiered system to go certain speeds. This means units will be provided with 5 paces to show from their scroll wheel, so you can either probably, I think you can go run all the way down to walk or 0, I would think at least. And then we're including 4 grenades in Ready or Not. Flashbangs, gas, sting balls, which I believe is this, and a 9-bang. Now, unfortunately, I don't know what a 9-bang is, but I'm thinking it's basically 9-bang flashbang, maybe. Like I said, I'm not an expert in that. I'll maybe put like a text if I look it up, but I'm thinking it's just going to be some sound grenade, or at least a big flashbang. Now, they also say that it can be thrown underhand or overhand. You know, if you want to throw it under a doorway, underhanded. If you want to throw it through a doorway, overhand. You know, they're mitigated, so obviously if your suspects are using gas masks, you know, your gas is going to be less effective. You know, flashbangs and stingers can be mitigated if you have a ballistic shield, which makes sense because you can sit there. If you got a stinger, you know, you have a guy with your 40-pound basically shield, stand there. Rubber balls are just going to bounce off. And they also say the particle effects we use for the grenades create a very dusty and smoky environment for the team, which makes sense. This is like their philosophy, I think, is make it as real as possible and don't take it fun. So, also they say that there's a bunch more neat features that I'd like to show, but however we have to wait for the gameplay trailer, which hopefully is close. So, if you guys haven't, I would highly read this over quicker than me. Like I said, this is just an overview from what I've seen. Join their Discord subreddit, join, you know, follow their Instagram. It's very helpful. They give a lot of nice details, all that stuff. And the last part of this really isn't too fun or interesting. It's just saying that they've basically redone all of their people skins. They've used scanning techniques to scan people, scan officers. They also traveled to New Zealand, where I believe most of them are based off, and they did a play test. And then we get a nice little tease of who they are. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'm going to leave a link to the description of this, as well as their Discord, their subreddit, and also go and find their Instagram. It's just Void Interactive. And you guys, I hope to see you in the next video.